Right, so what I've done is I've drawn out what I needed to do in brickwork. Now because it's like multi-layered, the bottom piece will sort of be like that with a grey brick band or a blue brick, whatever it is, this band going round, then ordinary brick again. The top one, if we move that onto there, we've done this pit plain because it's also got another level on the top of there which will go like so. And then we've got the windows to cut out, window sills to put in, and obviously this to cut out, but it was easy to mark it all out. I mean, I've done the brickwork and shown you how I chisel brickwork into things before. I didn't think you needed to see it again, but if anybody does and requests it, I'll just do a quick section and you can see how it's done. So what I'll do now is I'll cut all these out, show you how I'm cutting the windows out, give you another little run on that one so it shows you how easy it is to do. And we'll carry on and put it together. Right, so what I've done now is I've cut the windows out of there. I'm just going to show you how I do these. It's literally I follow the thingy down on the outside into my grooves all the way down. A couple of goes on that, and the same on the other side. Because I scrub these in, these lines is a lot easier to do. So we're cutting down there. We then cut across the bottom, right across, and then I carefully follow this round. So now I've already been round it once, so I know how far I'm going to go. So it's just get yourself where you're comfortable and you don't feel as though the knife's going to slip. And just work it in so you can feel as though you've gone all the way through, nearly there. And then get your straight one again into each corner, same the other way, and that's I put on there side one. And the reason I do that is when I come to make the windows, I've got the pattern of which fits in, so I can draw around there, draw the window to where it wants to be, and it goes straight in. So I'll keep that to one side. That's that one. Obviously we're now going to go like so. So that's the front bit done. All I've got to do now is cut out the door. So I'll quickly go around the top of this one and the sides. I think I've already started this one, so I can, yeah, I've gone right in, so I can get into that one. Into there. Again, across the bottom, and then round the top again. Just get your knife in to the groove, what you've done with your compass, and just slowly work your way around. It's not simple. You got to put a little bit of effort into doing it, but just take your time.
So why have you chosen to use 5mm board for this project?
You can use 3mm. I'll probably use 3mm for the tank. But for the walls themselves, I think you get a better relief on this one than you would on a 3mm. 3mm's alright for doing certain projects I've seen people doing where they're making sheds and things like that. And it's whatever you're comfortable with. It's a little bit more difficult to cut 5mm. You've got to be, you know, practice a bit more with it. But once you've got into it, 5mm will give you the definition, which is, if you look on there, 5mm divided into there is approximately 4 inches deep. So it's virtually a brick width. That's how I look at it. If you did 3, it'd be slightly under. So I stick, when I'm doing brickwork, I stick to 5. Anything other than that, I'd probably use 3. And the water tank, what goes on top of this, we'll do out of 3 because there's more plastic more plastic hard on that than there is, you know, it's only a framework with 3mm, and then most of it is plastic hard to put the rivet details and things like that in. So that's how pieces cut out. All the pieces are there now ready to assemble. The door on this one, like that, looks a bit odd. It looks really tall, but I can assure you on the photograph it is really a tall door. And the step up from here to the door, they must be going to put steps in there, because if it was me what was going into this water, so I'd struggle, I think. It is really, really tall. But probably what they've done, and they're accepted it, so we'll just do it very similar to what they did. So now what we'll do now is glue these together as a box, keeping everything square and everything else. We'll come back, make sure we do all the details of the brickwork around the windows, and I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to put these bits on. Right, what we're going to do now is glue them. What I use is Unica mitre pen. This is like a activator. It's really, really good. You've got to be pretty accurate with it because it does stick pretty instant. So what I do is do the edge I'm going to glue to. I use Hafali rapid set super glue. I found this is a little bit thicker, and for big areas absolutely brilliant. So what I'll do is I'll just put a row down here. Any little drops just wipe off. I don't like to make a messy stuff thing. And then make sure you've got it lined up, because boy does it set. So carefully get them all into place. That's it.
So you're only putting pressure on a small area at first?
Yeah, making sure I don't press the others down as much as what have you. Once I'm happy with the set of it, I can then press it. Make sure I'm square, make sure I'm tight on there. That's it. And then just let it dry for a second or two. Just keep it reasonably square. And once we've done that, we've got our first piece in line. And we try and keep these edges as neat as we can. And then what we'll do then is go through with our brick lines, follow it through, and then keep just working our way around. When you super glue it, it will just fill it in, and the dust will take up any spare. So it looks as though you've got the perfect joint, and really you just filled it in with the dust. Carry these through. Pat tends to go over these again after I've done it. And that's the brick course marked into there. And then what I do then is I go back to my scraper. Obviously you can pull them through to give that little bit more, but then what I do is go back and every brick where it's like a double length, I just run my scraper back down just on the inside of the joint, just that side of it, not on the joint. And then when Pat paints it, actually just forms another course of bricks. So if you go all the way down every other one, and if I just colour that, highlight them in, like that. And as you can see from that, can you see okay on that? That just finished. A bit closer.
Yeah.
That just gives me my course of bricks all set in. So I'll carry on now and put them all in, and we'll go from there to when you're ready. Right, so what we've done is we've put our first pieces on at the bottom. What I did was overlap this piece, cut these in, because this is the piece what's facing us. Cut this in. I put the door on this side for mine because this way faces my platform, so I thought it'd be the right way to be. And what I've done now is just overlap this slightly. So now I'm going to trim this back to suit to that one. So what I've done there is just literally levelled it. And then just filed it in so it's running nice and flush with that edge. What it does then is, because I'd cut the edge off this and tapered it down, so now what I do is match that back up to that one. So I'm just going to take that corner off and file that so it gives it the same angle as that one and the same angle as that one. And this one I'll just cut the bricks back in again to this. That's it. Just tidy that up. Draw them lines back in again on the bricks. Obviously I can put pencil in so you can see what I've done. And that's how I would finish that off. Now Pat says, why didn't I miter that corner? One, it's very difficult to cut miters because it's not easy to cut, and I think for the effort you'd put in to get them to cut, I think you'd spend more time trying to get them right than if you just do it like this way. It's not perfect, but it is very, very close. And the thing is, you don't see that part. When you've got all this brickwork and fancy bits, you won't notice whether it's absolutely perfect or not. So all I've got to do now is finish the back off, which is another piece. Again, what I'll have to do is overlap it so it just goes slightly further by, and then just trim it in. Right, so as you can see on the picture, there's a grey brickwork goes all the way around. So what we're now doing is these two pieces of brickwork at the top, then there's like a double course. One course is lower than the other, and this comes out quite a bit. So we're now going to stick this part on, and I'll show you how we do that. Right, so now what we'll do now is just stick this piece on. line this up with the back. Careful not to touch while you're ready, because it will stick very quickly. And that's that piece on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stick the next piece, which is this piece, on top of there. So that will match up like so. So what I'll do now is go around, put these on, and then I'll show you putting the long one on. Right, so what we're doing now is just sticking the extra layer on top, so it forms that extra piece. So I'll stick this one. Like so. Bricks already cut in at the bottom. Line up on the corners. So it's all nice and neat. Press it on. And that thing is that part. And then just to finish off, trim that down. I think I've all my sandpaper on this one. And then just line your corners back up again. Cut them back in again. Pencil them in so you can see them. And that is our overlap created. And like I said, they cut two course of bricks at the top. This one and that one are like a sandy colour. This is red brick. That's all red brick. Engineering brick. Red brick. And then around the window arches is a sandstone again colour, and then it's all red. So I'll finish the last one off, and then that's all ready then to get painted. So we know, I've just got the windowsills to put on, which are also a sandy colour. Right, so here we are. We've now put it together. I've just put it against one of these low cords just so you can see the comparison in scale. We think it fits in quite well. For some reason this door, what they made is on the other side, is extremely tall. I do like the idea of it, but they haven't got no steps, so we didn't think it looked right without a pair of steps, so we've knocked up a quick pair of steps to suit for it. But if you look at on the bluebell, it is a massive step from there to there, but that's how they've done it, that's their thing. So we've now done all the brickwork. Everything's done. So what'll happen now is it'll go over to Pat. I've took some sizes to start making the tank, but it'll now go to Pat. Who'll do a lot more work on tidying it up, making sure all the lines are in the right places, cleaning it up and painting it. By the time she's done that, I'll have made the top of the base for this and the top to make the tank. It's a double layer tank. I don't know if I can get this in focus. Is that alright, Pat?
Let's have a look. I'll get a bit closer. Getting better. That should do.
Yeah. Right. So this is a like a 1.5 tank, but I think I might do mine too, because I mean it's only a copy. I mean, to me it looks like a model in real life, but that's an actual real building. But we're going to do, I think I might do 2 layers on the top of the tank. Again, it's a representation, and we can do whatever we want to do. You know, but you can change it and do what you like. So what I'll do is start making the tank, and Pat will show you how to tidy it all up and start doing the painting.
Right, Steve's passed this over to me now, so I've already sanded it. So the next job to do, I'm not going to do a lot to it actually, because there's not really a lot that needs doing to it. So I've got my little favourite tool, or one of them, and I'll look for the thingy, and I'm just going to open up these bricks just to give it a more 3D effect. Don't want it too flat. It just opens the motor. Okay, so doing that, that's fine. So do all the other windows and the doors the same. I'm just going to run down the edge of there just to round it off. So I know Steve's already done this slightly, but I tend to go a bit further. And I do like to put the odd little imperfection in. It just adds to it when you paint it. And the same at the bottom. Just run along the bottom and just put the odd little mark in, and it stops it looking so new. So when I've done all that, the next job then is to actually put the base on. So when I'm happy with all me opening up of the motor lines, I'll paint the base completely with buff titanium. The one I'm currently using at the moment, I think I've put it away, so I'll get it out. Is this one, which is a graduate acrylic buff titanium. For a base colour it's quite good. It might be slightly light, so I might just actually add a little bit of raw umber to that. I'll just go find that. Just to darken it off slightly, because I don't want this building to look really new, and this is just slightly too much on the light side for me. So I'll get on with that, and then once I've done the base colour, we'll get back to doing the brickwork. Before I get on to the painting the base, the other thing I forgot to tell you is I tend to just run this tool on the corners of the brickwork and the corners of the buildings, and just open it up slightly, and it just adds a little bit of a shape there. And again, I think it adds to the fact that it's a little bit slightly older building. Gives it a little bit more character. Okay, moving on. Okay, the colour I've come up with. Don't be frightened to experiment with colour. I mean, bricks all over the country are different colours. The mortars are different colours. Go with what is in your area, or whatever you like. And I wanted a slightly darker mortar for this one. So what I've done is I've just had a bit of raw umber to my buff titanium. I quite like that colour actually, so I'm going to stick with it, carry on. When I finish the rest of the building and it's dried, we'll go on to the brickwork.
Right, so what we're making now is, this is the base for the tower. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of board that obviously fits inside, and then we made the part what goes around, and that will fit on pretty tightly. We don't want it slack. That's it. And that goes on like that. But then my next stage is, what I've done is I've made the four sides. So I've made these and drawn out where all the parts will go on to it, the crisscrosses and everything else. And they're going to go on like so. So the next stage is now to stick these on and make that part of the tower. So I'll take these off, stick them on, and I'll show you where I'm up to.
Base colour's now dry, so let's put the terracotta on. And for those who haven't seen this technique before, there are actually videos on our site that show you how to do it. But basically it's a terracotta and it's just doing random strokes, and you're going to cover most of this up. So we're just going to do the random strokes, as you can see. Go any direction you want. cover as much brick or mortar or base colour that you want. I think this building's can have quite an age to it, so it'll be a lot darker than it is now. So if you think you've got too much on your brush as well, just take it off with a bit of tissue. The beauty about this one as well is with the terracotta you can just build it up as you go along. And I'm going to do the whole building apart from above the window arches. I'm not going to do them because they're basically stone colour. I'm not going to do the windowsills because they're a stone colour. And also there is several there is some layers of brick. I'm going to have a look at the photograph and see which ones they are, because I'll need to mask those off. So I should have done that actually before I started, so I better get on and do that now. I started doing the brickwork on this and realised I hadn't masked off the brickwork that's actually a different colour. So if you look at, if you can see it, I'm not sure if you can, but hopefully you can. There's 2 rows of brickwork there that's a stone colour, and then there's a row here that's a blue colour. So I've had to stop doing the brickwork and mask it off. So that's what I've done there, got it all masked off, and that goes all the way around. So I can start doing the brickwork again. What I've used for the masking is this. It's precision masking tape. A lot of war gamers and people like that use that masking tape, and it's good. Just gives enough tack on it to hold it in place, but without being a bit too strong. So let's just carry on now with the brickwork, because as you can see I started doing it, so I'll just carry on for a little bit longer and just building up. If you left it like that and then added a bit of dark and left these base colour bits in, you can make a building look really, really old. But brickwork's down to you really, whatever you choose. Where we are, we have a lot of this type of brickwork, and that's what our railway is based on. You may have a yellow brickwork, or maybe stone. Probably going to have to build, well, we've got a tunnel to build eventually, so I think we're going to do that in stone. So, and also we've built people, well, friends, I won't say people, friends, slate stations, etc. So I may do a slate building, so you can see how we get the slate colour. So I'm going to carry on now putting this first coat of terracotta on, and I'll catch up with you when I've done that. The first coat of terracotta's on. So now what I'm going to do is I've just mixed up a bit of terracotta with a bit of burnt umber. Just let me double check that. Yes, a bit of burnt umber. So to make the next colour that we're putting on. I've freehand painted around there because it's quite tricky to put masking tape around the arches, so I stuck to freehand painting. So what we're going to do now is add the next colour, which is again the same technique. You put as much or as little as you want to put in. So once we've done that, and we're going to do that all over, once we've done that we can then add the I like to put a bit of black paint on, and that highlights the bricks again and also adds a bit of age. So I'll carry on doing this, and we'll see what it looks like then when I've finished. So that's the terracotta red ochre second coat put on. So it's starting to look a little bit darker, a bit older brick. So my next one is to like dry brush black on. Now I use Mars black. So, and all you're doing again is just lightly brushing, just to make these bricks stand out a little bit more. You can put more black on the bricks if you want, that's your choice. Okay, so I've taken the masking tape off now for that because I've painted it cream, and I'm just on my last window now to paint that cream. So I don't really want the brush strokes to show on this, so let's just paint the sill. Catch it, don't worry, because there's a window going in there. And this is a really soft brush, but you still get brush marks. Like if you're doing a stone effect or brick effect and you want to add a bit of texture, just use a bit of, well, it's a pan scrub, and that will blend in and take out those brush strokes. And it'll look a lot better. How's that? It's a bit on the side. Same with the top. Don't do these individually, just go around and do them, and if you find you've filled in your mortar thingies, just get a cocktail stick and just go between them. And if they're still not showing up too well, when they've dried, just take a pencil and just go down the line. Like so. And that sorts that one out. So the next bit now is to take this masking tape off, put it back on the bricks above it, and that's going to be, it's like a bluey grey brick, so I shall probably do that in Payne's grey. So that's the next step to move on to.
Right, what we're doing now is I've put a thin strip all the way around the top, one around the bottom. We're now going to fill in these gaps to make up the boxes. So I'm using is 3mm. I'm going to cut it pretty thin. So you're looking about 1/16 of an inch all the way down. Nice and gentle. Like that. And we'll keep that as thin, obviously slightly deeper. So what we're doing then is we're just going to pop one on, mark it so we can see it, cut that off. Pop it against there, make sure it fits in still. Like so. And we'll go along to another one. And I'm going to cut that one off as well. I tend to just trim them a little bit big because you can always trim a bit off if necessary. So once you've got two of those, or as many as you want to do at one go, we're going to little bit of super glue right at the very end, just carefully follow that down, place that on there. You've already drawn your line so you know where it's going to go. That's one. Two, keep it straight at that end. And then what I do with this one is just give it a little bit of a spray, not as much as it needs it, but it will disperse any thick glue. It just makes it run in so it doesn't leave glue residue behind. So once we've done that, we can carry on and put the rest in, which I'll do, and I'll do it on thingy so you can see. So we're just marking, cutting, testing. There's days I think I've even done it before, when I get one right now and again. Marking, testing. That one, same with that one. Steady. And that's what's pushed in there. That is slightly big. And I'll glue those in. Over that one. Last but not least, this one. And these are all cut, so it's a 16th that way. You're cutting a 16th off, so it means it's 3 milli deep that way. Now as long as you keep it that way, all those will line up at the same height. So you're going to get them to level all the way around. Just give it a little spray just to get rid of the glow. It dries off in a couple of seconds, but it thins it out so it just goes into all the little gaps and you don't have a load of residue stuck on it. So that's that part. So that's our boxes. The next part is to frame it out with rivets. Now I have a little riveting machine, which is this, and I use a bit of 40 cal plastic card for that. Again, I've got some, but I'll show you how I do it. I'll take a piece off there, and that's how thick I'm making it. So I'll go back into there again. I generally make them a little bit wider than this, but it didn't look right, so it needed to be thinner. So it's a case of getting it level, and cutting a strip off. And then, can you see my riveting machine from there?
I certainly can. I'll bring it closer.
So all I do now is get myself started that way, because it's easier to do it one way sometimes than another. Now literally pop it in. This riveting machine comes from Model Layers and Engineers. I think it's about 30 quid to make up for yourself, or I think he sells them for 50 or 60 pounds already constructed. Absolutely lovely bit of kit. It's so handy. I mean, we use it in brass because he'll do brass as well, but for this type of thing it's brilliant. I can make enough of this to do a complete panel in a couple of minutes. So I'll do this one, and what you do is you push it back on itself, so the rivet you've just formed is the guard for the next one. So you're pushing it back onto a little ridge all the way around there, and as long as you keep that there pushing it back, It's simple, it's quick, and it keeps it even. Makes it a bit curly.
So will that one strip do what you need, or will you need several
I'll
strips?
need several strips. You don't need a massive amount, it's not great big. This will do about 1.5 panels, so it's quite. I probably need half a dozen. I think I've got 2 or 3 I've done. But I'll do one so I can show you exactly how it's made. Straighten it back out again to a degree. And that's my little riveting strip all the way along with rivets in. Absolutely brilliant. So our next job is to frame one of these out. So it's literally a marking. Look which rivet it goes to. Make sure you go past that rivet. And if you need to trim it back in again, because you've got space on the other one, you can turn it around, but that one fits snug. Like that. Then you do the bottom one exactly the same. Trim a little tiny piece off that one because I did make it slightly longer. Pop it in, and that's that one. Once I do the bottom and the top, I then glue them in. Just literally push it in. And I find if you push it in the middle and slide it down, it pushes the glue up as well. Make sure it gets a good contact both sides. That's the first part. The next part is the one I was cutting. That one fits in nicely. Just mark it. That one quite stuck. That's probably me just being a bit too heavy-handed with the super glue. Super glue works better the less of it. We'll chop that one off. And make sure that goes in. And then we go to the other end. This one's a little bit more tricky. You don't always get the rivets. It's 99% there, but the odd one, little strip sometimes just won't go in. But you just got to play about and you'll get it. And that's how I riveted on that one. In fact, I'm a bit short there now. And then what the next one is, handy if I put the crosses in every one. On the drawing, we noticed it got, can you see it from there?
I'll just bring it in. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, on there we noticed it's got a circle and some bars coming off. We know these go slightly raised up and taper off a little bit, but we've decided to just put the circle in and some little bars in. So I'll show you how I did that bit. And what I used was just a small washer, a drop of super glue in the middle. In fact, I'll pop all these in and then they're on. Just pop them on there. somewhere near. Same with that one. Same with that one. And you can see where they've got to go because of the cross in the middle. You just virtually centering that up. And the same with that one. And just to make sure they're stuck. Let that dry for a second. And then what we do then, to form these little arms, we need to cut a really thin piece. So I've gone down in 30 thou plastic card, which is, that's 40 thou, this is 30, it's about the same thickness as the washer. And we're now going to cut off something like a 16th, which was about that width. So I'm going to cut a piece of that all the way down. I've actually got these strips, so I thought I'd just show you how to make sure, you know, you show the cat this is how you are all going to be doing. Like so. That's it. That way. And then what we do then is, we've got our distance. I'll just measure it where I want it to be. Which is there. So now you've got to cut this side because they'll be slightly longer. So we're going to cut 4 of these, but I'll do 5 just to, you know, I'm ready for the next one. And then just taper the ends off. I don't think it needs to be absolutely precise, but those with OCD, just go for it. You can measure them and mark them. I won't. Got the last one. Now we'll save that for a minute thingy. And then all I do then is I get me really sharp scraper. Make sure there's no glue on the end of it. Pick that up and just a little touch on there again. Stick it in there. Drop it on, land that point up roughly, same with that one, land that point up, that one, make sure it gets all the way down. Same with that one. It's a little bit more fiddly. That's it. And again, dab off anything surplus. And that's it. What we're going for is I've done one side already, so we've got that effect all the way along. It's sprayed grey, and if we just highlight them, it'll make them stand out that little bit more. Right, so that's obviously that's how we're going to do one. So we're going to finish up with that all the way around. As you can see, we've done the back part, just a little bit of sanding. Once we touch these up and highlight them, I think they'll stand out enough to make it look a bit deeper. We cut the actual tank down itself. We was going to do too deep, but it looks really tall when it's alongside our houses, so we decided to trim it down and just go for one. The original version is 1.5, but we've decided to stick with one. It looks better on ours. So, and that's what we're after achieving. So I'll carry on and finish this part off, and then we'll spray it up and we can see where we are. Right, so we're just making the windows now. So what I'm doing now is making the side one, as I call it. So what I've done is I keep the pieces. Whoop, hope if I didn't do that. So I know exactly what shape, even though you think you're drawing these perfect, sometimes they don't cut exactly right. So what I do is then transfer that shape onto me piece of 3mm board, so I know that's going to fit. Mark it all out where I want my pieces to be. Get me a knife as I usually do, scrab them all in. So each one of these I scrab in with a scrubber. So I'm going in between each one and scrabbing. Then I get my knife and I use my hook blade and I go around each one like that. So I'm cutting them in. And then what I do with a straight blade is release each corner. So I go into each one and release them. And then just press them out. I'd already pre-cut this one, to be fair. Anything you find tight, don't force it, just trim it, just be a little bit of flashing, and take that one out. And the same with the top ones, just make sure you release all the corners. Very gently, and then obviously you just go around and tidy it up. How I do it is just anything I see what's slightly big or what have you. Once you've got all that cut out, you've then got to cut round it. And so again I use the curved blade. Because you've scrubbed it all the way around, you've put that on and used a scrubber, you have got an actual line going round, so you can just follow that. So I just let my knife run in their lines, and the same with that one. Nice and steady. I mean, you can buy windows if you if you don't fancy making your own windows. You can buy. There is commercial products, but you'd have to buy them what you thought was the best shapes and have them there so you can transfer that hole straight into your brickworks. There's a lot of doing that. Some, like I think it's Mike Duffy, are actually printing his own windows now, so there's plenty of ways of doing it. Me, I don't mind this way.
We're working on a budget building.
Yeah.
We're trying to do it for the least possible cost. Yeah,
this is the cheapest way of doing it. It's a bit more involved, I suppose. But there we are. As simple as that. And that goes straight in there. Right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put our door in. So what I've done is marked out a door, a panel door. I'm going to put the same windows at the top, I think the original is just solid, but I think they've altered it since, looking at some of the videos. But this is how we're going to do our door. So we're just going to mark it all in. So I've got my scraper, go around all the panels. Make sure I've got a nice deep groove on all of them. Make the outline of the door. And the same with that one. And across the top. And then what I'll do then is I'll get a small screwdriver any just a flat bladed one, and just run that the other way around so it just shapes them panels like so. So what you're doing is compressing the Foamex so it's got a bevel on it. And same with that one. And then turn it round and repeat it. Turn it round once more. Last one. And what that does is it makes them panels stand up. I mean, I don't know if you can see that all the way around. And then what I'm going to do then is just literally cut out the top ones. Again, just work your way around steadily. Along that curve. Same with that one. And then straight blade into all the corners. And gently ease them out. There's just a little bit on there. Always check on the back, because you can see where your cuts have come right through. Tidy this up. pop that in. And there we are. As simple as that. Right, so that's our roof, what we're going to put on. We're just going to use a 5mm piece. We framed it off with some rivet details. We've put a hatch in. The ladders on ours will have to go down the end. Theirs is at the back, where we're going to put them down here. We're not going to have so much really elaborate with all these scrolls, because I think it looks a bit daft. We'll just have a ladder with a circle on it. And that's it finished, and we'll spray this black as though it's been bitumened, just to protect it. And we're just waiting for it to be all finished and painted now. Right, this is the water tower complete. This is where we've got, we think we finished with it. We did the shorter tank. We put a roof on with some rivet detail in. We've gone to a green door. I think theirs is red on theirs. We put steps in because it looked a bit hard to me the way they'd done it, so we put steps in to suit our figures. We did a plain back. We think theirs has got the arches in with it bricked up, and we just went for a plain back. It was simpler. You don't really see the back. There is other buildings in between this and the railway. The ladder on theirs was this side. We haven't the space to put that in. On our railway, where it's going is a really tight spot. You've only got like an inch either side to play with. So we made a little ladder out of plastic card and a bit of wire and put it on the back. Overall, we think it's a lovely building. We really like it. It looks lovely on the railway. And it's now going to go out. It's all been varnished. It's completely finished. I hope you like it.